Are you as stupid as they think you are? Of course, you obviously answered no. 99% of the people do. But with them being right 80% of the time, I mean, there's a good probability you are that stupid. Right? It's not an insult to you. It's not that you lack the intelligence. It's just that you don't question things properly. No, very, very, very few people do. When I was, in my youth, which was a long time ago, obviously, they used to say, question authority. You should question authority, but not just authority. It doesn't mean disbelieve. Okay? It means to question. There are so many things in our lives that we accept as facts long before we know they're facts. Sadly, it starts all the way back at our parents because, they didn't like answering the questions, as you probably don't to your kids. Quit asking so many questions. Sad thing. They should have told you to always ask questions. It would have been better for them, better for you, better for society. But instead, they made you quit asking when you were young. Okay? But like I said, the question is, are you as stupid as they think you are? Okay? Obviously, your answer is no, because almost every human thinks that they are above being stupid. So in that sense, without having thought about the question, you just given an answer, you didn't question anything, and so you came up with an emotional response, so you would have failed the test. But on the other side of the coin, you were probably correct. Okay? The contradiction actually does make sense, because if you would have questioned the question, you would have had to define the word stupid. Now, I have little doubt you are not a stupid person. Most people are not stupid people. I'm not saying none are, but in general, most people have a good degree of intelligence, a good degree of common sense. They can make it through a day without wearing a helmet. Most of them. You do have those exceptions. But are you a stupid person was the question. And what is stupid? Okay? Is stupid the same as ignorant? No, they're not. And that is the key, I'd say the beginning key to why you're not stupid. Okay? When I say as stupid as they say you are, who am I referring to in this question is they. In this particular time, I'm referring to the manipulators, the ad people, the teachers, politicians. They use a certain technique that they have used for a long time. We all know the methodology. Okay. You got the controlled fear factor. You got the repeat it over and over. You got the gaslighting, commercials. Shoving things at you very fast. Audio, video. What they call it, the old card trick. I don't remember what they call the card game. Where you hide the one, they move around. The misdirection. Jingles. The techniques, we all know what they are, but yet we fall for them anyway. Okay? And it's not because we're stupid, but because we're ignorant on what they're really trying to do. Okay? I should say, well, one of my favorite, we'll get into one of these times here. Okay? So, like I said, they are right that people are gullible because they have an 80-90% success rate in their methodology, or they won't keep doing it. Okay? But like I say, it's just that we're ignorant to it. We don't understand how gullible we are. And a lot of us actually, in thinking that we're not gullible, have made ourselves more gullible because we think we're beyond the treachery, if you want to call it, way over exaggerated. But we're beyond the being influenced by something so simple. Okay, but I'll tell you what, you can go back and hear single individual lines, because since I don't know your age, I can't necessarily relate to you. But people my age going back, good. You know what I'm talking about. I can't believe I ate the whole thing. You know what I'm talking about. These little catchphrases, they lock into your head. Okay, so it does work on you. So in that case, we are as stupid as the rest of them. Myself too, obviously, I know these phrases. Okay? But mind you, most of these came back from when I was a lot younger. and I hadn't learned to ask the right questions yet. Okay, when I say we ask the wrong questions, I'm not talking about rebelling against society. Some of the things that we accept in society is necessary for the binding of society, the bonding of society. Okay? But some of the questions, like you may have noticed I'm smoking here. Okay, pretty taboo thing these days, I realize. You know, and with all the, I'm going to die of lung cancer, obviously, because I smoke like a chimney sometimes. Secondhand smoke's going to kill everybody around me. You know all the perils of smoking. But you do realize that man has been smoking for a long time. He rolled his own, then he made his cigars. We're not talking 10, 20 years, hundreds of years for the Indians. And not just smoking tobacco. Tobacco is the common one now. So I understand that people in prison will smoke dried up, not lettuce, but spinach. Okay, because it gives them something to smoke. The act of smoking. Now the nicotine itself, yes, of course, the nicotine is an addictive drug, and I'm not in any way promoting smoking. Just questioning what they say. Okay? In my many years, I've known a lot of people, known a lot of smokers. When we were kids, I remember mothers breastfeeding with a cigarette hanging out their mouth. Our fathers would, have the truck rolled up, the windows up, smoke just pouring out the windows with us in the truck. So if the numbers were accurate, half the people I know should have gotten lung cancer. Well, I have known a few people who've gotten lung cancer, it's sad to say. Oddly, though, they were not smokers. Okay? The ones that actually I know who have died or got bad enough lung cancer that ended up killed, ended up being a reason for their death, not the cause, were not even smokers. I've known lots and lots of smokers who have smoked their whole life, don't have it. Okay? I'm not saying it doesn't cause it, because it probably, I'm sure it's not healthy for you. The tar buildup in your lungs, not healthy, of course, but it's not going to kill you like they say. Or again, everybody I know that smoked all those years would have been dead, and they lived to ripe old ages, most of them. So I'm talking about my parents and grandparents. They pretty much all have passed by now. None of them from lung cancer, though. Right? And the secondhand smoke concept is even more ridiculous, because of powering these things down like I do, and like my grandparents didn't kill them. That little tiny bit, that I don't know how many parts per million, but pretty minuscule, is not going to give somebody cancer unless they're predestined to it. And if you're predestined to it, by what I've seen, something's going to kick it off. Right? But so I'm just saying that again. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just questioning if they're right. I don't see how the data, other than them telling me that the data says this, when I look at the data doesn't seem to back what they say. Okay? And on that one right there, let's go with the other aspect of smoking. Okay? And this wasn't my intention to start off smoking, but it's as good a thing to question as any. I don't know if I can say the name of the thing, because again, it might be a legal situation. I have to question that. But there is a famous deodorizer that they sell for your house, and they basically have convinced you. Beautiful ad campaign. It's been going on. I couldn't tell you the exact time, but since I was in my youth, it's been a long time. That they tell you. Well, they started out saying the room basically stinks until you use this, and it's got a certain freshness that any other smell except this smell is not fresh, is not natural, not like being out in the woods. Okay, they to a point that it's insulting. Does your house smell like somebody's rotten butt crack? They don't use that, but obviously I don't want to use what they use. So again, I hate getting sued. Telling you that your house smells like somebody's butt crack, unless you use their merchandise. Okay, and then all of a sudden everybody comes over and is so happy and smiling and put at ease, and we fell for it when we've used this stuff over and over and over. Now, if you've guessed what I'm talking about, I'm I'm assuming that you're not stupid. You probably have. Really smell the stuff. It's nasty. There's nothing fresh about it. There's nothing natural about it. It smells like chemicals. It's actually a nasty smell. And those smells that they are telling you got to get rid of are just smells of life. Okay? And I'll tell you what, if you have dogs, your house is going to smell like dogs. Apparently you love dogs, so what's the problem? Okay? But now they've got you convinced, and this commercial actually was a major part of it, that you shouldn't be comfortable having your dogs. If you have kids in the house, your house is going to smell. Yes, kids smell. Okay? I'm not saying that's bad. I mean, they smell like kids do. Not just little kids either. Yeah, teenagers too, and some of us even beyond that age. It's called living. Okay? But those smells are natural smells. They're real smells. They're not a fake chemical that they've convinced you to use. So, like I say, if you want to start questioning right off the bat, and again, I'm not trying to convince you of anything, but look at your own thing on cigarettes. Yes, you don't like the smell. That's real. You don't like it, you don't like it. But that's even comical in its own way because, again, back when I was young, they loved the smell of cigars. It was a homey smell. But whoever they be in this case, the tobacco company, the anti-tobacco companies, which I doubt the anti-tobacco companies are anywhere near as moral and life-saving as they want to present. But there's a lot of money in fighting the tobacco companies because they have a lot of money. Okay? And so, like I said, our stuff, what we call stinky now is because we were told it stunk. Okay? If they convinced everybody after a while that campfire stunk, so it's the same thing. It's a burning, a burning plant. Okay, you would become convinced that it stunk. And I've seen people so bad on these cigarettes now that it's just unbelievable that they can 10 feet away from them and oh my God, I smell cigarettes. Again, I'm not saying they smell good. That's an opinion, a personal opinion. But if you notice, the ones who are the most extreme about the smells are also the most molded kind. Okay, they're not actually judging the quality of the odor. They're judging what they've been told they should like. And so they will go to our air freshener and spray the house down and make the house truly stink, in my opinion, like chemicals. But they consider themselves smarter than to fall above that thing. Okay? But yeah, I didn't intend to talk about cigarettes, but it's as good as anything to question. Okay? Let's see, what were we going to question at the difference? I know I'm not reading a script, but I do have notes, so I didn't get lost and do too many of these. Okay? So that's right where I was. I was talking about the difference of stupid and ignorant. Okay? Ignorant, let's say I'm a teacher, okay, or an employer, or a boss, a trainer, whatever, but I'm in the role of sharing knowledge. Okay? If the person that I'm supposed to be teaching doesn't know something, they're ignorant. Okay? Ignorance is just lack of having learned something, lack of acquired the data, acquired the knowledge. Okay? Ignorance is not the student's fault, it's the teacher's. It's the, again, the boss, whoever. The person they're supposed to be educating should have annulled the ignorance. You can't help it if you're ignorant. Actually, you're an adult now, you can. But we'll give you the slack because everybody likes to blame the other people instead of taking self-responsibility. So we'll go on the fact that nobody told you what they should have told you. And so you stayed ignorant on the subject. And if you're being insulted now, stop. There's nothing to be insulted about. We are all ignorant on something. Okay? We're all ignorant on most things. There is so much knowledge and so many things to be acquired. There's no way that we can have acquired and studied everything. So in that scope, we are ignorant of everything we haven't studied or haven't learned. So we're all ignorant of things, okay? Sadly, so many people are ignorant of some of the most basic things that they should know. Again, I will blame that in our school system, especially now for you younger kids that they don't have shops and home ec and things like that where they teach you the basics. They should be teaching you insurance, credit systems, interest, how it actually affects you, how to fix your own car, the basics of life. Yes, cooking, cleaning, so you don't have to spray that stinky stuff. So yes, you are ignorant on some things, as am I, as is everybody. That's not an insult. Stupid is an insult. Once you've been informed of something, at that point, you know it. If you continue to do something illogical with the knowledge in your head, well, I'm afraid at that point you have to be considered stupid. Okay? I am totally tolerant of everybody I've ever taught of their ignorance because it was my fault. I have to be tolerant. But stupidity is something, if you know the right way, you do the wrong way, it's stupid. If you know you're going to hurt yourself, you do it anyway. It's stupid. Okay? And if you stop and realize their methodology in their commercials or their politicians, when people are giving you a bowl, okay, you should be able to see through it. Okay? And actually, that would be almost stupid because you know the methodologies. You know the politicians lie all the time. But yet we seem to give them the benefit of the doubt where the homeless guy on the street who's telling you point blank he's hungry, we assume he's lying. Okay? That is stupid because we know by history politicians lie through their teeth. Okay? Not trusting the homeless guy on the street, good chance he's lying to you too. But you know the probabilities are if the politician is lying to you, he is skewing the data to misrepresent the reality, which in my opinion we'll call a lie. Okay, so let's see. So like I say, so we went through what stupid is, and I would say only maybe about 20% of you listening are actually stupid. Okay, I hate to say that, but hey, reality sucks. If you question things, the question is everybody intelligent, and the answer is no. Some are just stupid. Okay, and if you choose not to learn, knowing that you are choosing to remain ignorant, I would have to spell that indeed stupid. Okay, so let's go on. And the good news is that wisdom, to not be stupid, does not require college. It doesn't even require studying. It doesn't even require reading. Any of the things that you might consider boring. I've heard so many people justify their lack of knowledge because of their hatred. I don't like to read. I don't like to study. It gets in the way. They probably don't even value it. Again, I'm not saying that necessarily my values of liking intelligence is that relevant. But, I don't know. I hate being stupid. Okay? So, what we're going to talk about on this podcast over the time is some of the basics. And I'll tell you what, you would honestly be surprised how much of the ingrained step one basics we forgot to question and we are wrong about. Okay? Any understanding of a logical process will show you that when the beginning numbers are erroneous, then the outcome will not only be wrong, but the deeper the analysis goes, the farther off, of course, will be the conclusion. Okay? In other words, if A plus B equals C, and C times E, equals F, and you go on, if the number A was wrong, it's going to be completely wrong all the rest of the way. Okay? And you'd be amazed again. Now, we'll go through them, but how many of our A's are wrong? Okay? And I know none of us probably still do, but again, if you would have continued to believe in Santa Claus, but we all had enough intelligence eventually to, question that one because, hey, where is the guy? He eats my cookies. I never see him. Some of us even stayed up, not myself, of course, but some of us stayed up to spy on the guy and realize he wasn't there. So in questioning that, we quit believing in him, okay? Sadly. But had we continued to believe in him, imagine how gullible the rest of our lives would have been, okay? To believe in fantasies like that. Well, that was the A. We beat that one right there. For all of our lives, most of us really thought that we would go blind sitting close to TV. the way the beam hits the screen, the phosphorus backing. Back then, of course, LEDs now, no, but they were lying to you. They just didn't want you in their way. Was it right for your parents to lie, or everyone to, give you that bowl so you'd get out of their way? Not really. But, hey, they were human beings, and you were a dumb, gullible kid, so they told you that and got out of the way. But it wasn't true, okay? And that one right there doesn't affect us very much. But some of the other basics that they have told you are that much, okay? So, and I'm not ever going to, in any of this, okay? I'm going to go with you to ask the questions, okay? Because I believe in question everything, not question authority, not question the law, but question everything. Is it true before you make sure it's true before you take it as an absolute that you're going to carry on for the rest of your life, okay? And I am not in any way, shape, or form going to pretend that I can give you the right answer, okay? Because I ain't that smart. But I will tell you what things I know are not the right answers, okay? And there is a big difference. Let's say a crime happened, okay? I'm not telling you I could tell you who did the crime, but I could certainly tell you somebody who was 2,000 miles away at the time did not do it. Somebody who was, at a party with 27 people standing around him at that particular time did not do it, okay? So I can tell you quite often what is not true, but that doesn't mean I can tell you the truth, okay? Nor will I even try to. But I will say that as you eliminate what is wrong, you'll start seeing more probable right, okay? Or as Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the writer of Sherlock Holmes, said, that when you remove all of the impossible, what is left in the result is the answer, no matter how improbable, okay? And that is a fact, okay? Again, you remove all the things that are wrong, and a minimum, reduces the number of possible rights, and then it's a whole lot easier to actually find the right, okay? So, what are some of the things we're going to talk about in this thing? Some of them are going to be interesting. Some of them are boring. I don't know. I'm probably boring. I don't know. But some of the things about the wrongs and the rights, religion, again, some of the very basics of mathematics. Is mathematics as much of a fact as they say it is? Yeah, there's ways of saying yes, but there's a lot of ways of saying no. Okay, in fact, several of the things that we accept as proof of mathematics accuracy, actually, if you look at it, proves that what they are claiming is wrong. Okay, historical figures, were they anything like they have been put out to you? Because remember, the victor tells the story, so the loser is always the bad guy. Okay. But when you stop to discuss that, you find the human factor in both sides. Okay, in modern society, democracies and other forms of government, we'll definitely talk about them. There's a lot of things that people forget to question on those. Okay, not to say, mind you, I am in no way, shape, or form a socialist, but is democracy the most logical way? We've always been told yes, because we lived in this great country, the great experiment, and we did. It was a great country. Hopefully it will be again. We have some pretty serious flaws at the moment, but again, that's always part of the transition of life. But we won't, again, we're not going to go into any of that right there yet. So, like I said, do accept the fact that I am not going to try to tell you what is right, but we will look at a lot of things that are wrong, especially people who are highly educated, that when you think inside the box so much that you expect or accept that certain things are just the way it should be and the way it has to be. Okay, some of them are cultural, and they need to be. Like what we eat. After having traveled around the world myself, I was amazed at how some of the stuff that I would consider just gross, unnatural to eat, other people ate with such ease. and how much they would definitely gag watching some of the stuff we eat, okay? Because those are cultural differences. It's not a wrong or a right. They're just embedded. But even the subjects of wrong and right we'll get into, because those should be questioned. Morals, history, science, physics, religion, politics should all be questioned. So at least if we can't find what's right, we will less accept what is wrong. So I'll talk to you soon.